Hello, 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 Eurovision Fam. I'm writing solo today, so you don't get to hear a burst into song. But we're going to be doing a review of the second jury rehearsal. Wait, let me rephrase that. We're going to be doing a review of Semifinal 2's jury rehearsal. So I'm going to give everyone like a moment to kind of settle in while we wait. And then after, settle in, I guess I'll go ahead and get started with this one. Actually, no, let's just kick it off because I'm going to go in running order and I'm going to kind of talk about everything. So at the very beginning of the show, we are going to be having a little recap video of the first semifinal. So it's going to just be little shots of the songs that qualified, some of the stuff that happened with the interval acts, and like little jokey jokes of the host. It's cute. It's your standard second semifinal video that we start off with. Let me grab my notebook. All right, so once we go through that little brief video, we're going to go ahead and we get into the first song, which is Denmark. I'm not going to lie, I think it's a good start. Oh, hello, Georgios. Sorry. Georgios Papadopoulos. Hello, hello. If you guys have any questions, just ask them in chat and I'll answer them as I go because I don't have Jordan ask me questions today. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and we start off with Denmark. Good opener, kind of like when we get into the video or the show, he has a little room that actually spins around him. It's kind of like, think Dandy Danza for Melody Festival in 2020, was it 2022? I think it was. But like more kind of sleek instead of like being the back of the packaging plant. It's like a room. We have that happen. Room rotates around him. Everything is in pastel colors. I actually really like his outfit. I find it to be very cute. And yeah, I enjoy it very much. Let me see here. Okay. Um, sorry. Hello, Faith Thomas. I think this is the first time we've seen you here. Love stuff. All of the songs from semifinal one are stuck in my head. I'm from America, and it should not happen when I get earworm syndrome because of this competition, and I like it. Honestly, when you get deep into Eurovision, you'll be like just sitting somewhere, and then like a Eurovision song from like 1966 pops in your head, and you have to explain to everybody why you're singing in French. Like it just happens, and I'm happy that you enjoyed your show, enjoyed the first show there. So the next thing we have here is Armenia. Is the second one to go through for Armenia. Oh, not go through. The second one to perform is Armenia. I have to say I love the staging for this. From the still shots, I wasn't sure what we were going to go with since it starts out giving us Brunette laying back on a whole bunch of like pastel swirls. It's kind of like that music. Is it? If no, yeah, it's like a bunch of pastel swirls and a projection laying on her. The camera's very languid but very intimate at the same time, focusing primarily on her. Once we go into that like spoken word part that occupies the second verse, we're seeing the camera get more like staccato with its movement. We're getting a lot of flashing in the light. It goes from that pastel to a stark black and white combination. It's very effective and very beautiful. And guys, Armenia gave us a dance break. I'm not gonna lie. It was surprising to see that we got a dance break between the spoken word verse and the chorus in Armenian, but it's welcomed. It's really well delivered and it suits the song. It's like you're thinking, well, what is this like kind of cooing ballad about someone you're going to be in love with in the future? Need a dance break for? I don't know how it needed one, but it got one and it works really, really well. I really have high hopes for Armenia making it. I really do. And they would deserve it. Great quality there. After Armenia comes Romania. With Romania staging, it's a different version of the song. It starts out acoustic, so it's like an acoustic guitar, just him and a guitar on the stage. He's sitting there. The LEDs, I don't understand why they went with those LEDs, especially for the first verse that's in Romanian with the acoustic guitar. But Out of that, we're going to go ahead, get into the version of the song we all know, and it's dramatic. The LEDs, again, I'm not sure what's happening with them. The floor turns into lava, and it's a little distracting. I'm not going to lie. I have nothing against what Theodor is doing. I think he's doing a fantastic job with what he's been like, what he has as far as support goes. It's just with this staging, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't really work for the song either, unfortunately. And there's some bits, like I don't want to give anything away, but there is a dancer. I would like to have that dancer be in there more because when she shows up, you're just like, where did you come from? Why are you here now? You don't get enough time with her interacting with Theodore or enough time with just her alone. Um, so I do worry for Romania. I'm not gonna lie, I do worry for Romania. Um, After them comes Estonia. And so we have Alika singing Bridges. Um, it's basically what was at the national final for staging, but scaled up. There's a lot of shots that are very thoughtful. Like if I had to choose one word to describe Estonia, like Estonia's staging package, it is thoughtful. The camera has some great shots in it. There's a good focus between both her and the player piano when it's playing alone. So you're gonna get those nice like balance between the two. She sounds great. I think she looks good. I know other people are not big on the outfit, but I think the outfit does have a good amount of movement. Yeah, so I'm gonna go into that 1 second here. Peter, we're gonna talk about yesterday here in a bit. I just want to kind of focus on today, the rehearsal for today. Yeah, that is very true. Peter Hodgett says, and now we go into one of the most unpredictable semifinals. When I tell you, watching it play back, it is really hard to call what's gonna happen. It really is, but hey, I like it when it's chaotic. I like it when I don't know what's gonna happen. Makes it exciting for us all. So after Estonia comes Belgium. I love Belgium's staging. Gustaph gets it. He understands where his genre comes from, and the LED choice in the background is pure 100% early 90s house. It is so perfectly that genre. In fact, I think there's a drag queen in the background who literally looks like um the vocalist from Delight, which was, like kind of a dance band from that time period. I'm like, oh, this drag queen's just channeling like her 100%. Yeah, like no way to get around it. But it's fantastic. The way Gustav plays off with his backing vocalist, perfection. My biggest issue with this song is I could use more of the dancer. Um, I have looked up more of his work. His name's Pussy West. I looked up more of Pussy West stuff. Fantastic. I love voguing like that. That should be a sport. If you don't watch it, you should get into it. Um, but I could use more of the dancing. And I think the camera is letting it down, but I want this in the final so bad. Like, this needs to be in the final. And could you imagine how brokenhearted the guys from Joker Out would be if, like, Belgium didn't qualify? They've been singing that song nonstop. And then we're going to go ahead and we go into a commercial break. After the commercial break comes Cyprus. I think having a commercial between Belgium and Cyprus helps them both out because it's such a drastic difference between the two songs. So having that commercial break there is going to ease us back into going into what we're getting from Cyprus. The LED is mostly waterfalls. And then we get like on the last chorus, it switches over to being fire and there's pyro. How do I phrase this? It's fine. Like honestly, Andrew sounds good. There's a lot of backing track in there, but he sounds good and you can hear him clearly through on those long high notes. He hit every single note in this evening's rehearsal. And I know I said I was worried before we got here, but I'm not worried about him hitting those notes anymore. When it comes to Andrew, Laurie Francis, where are you? Laurie Francis, I think Andrew will deliver. I think he will deliver too. I really do. I think that the vocal he has is strong enough. Like I was worried where things were going to go with the vocal. I'm not worried anymore. He sounded great in this rehearsal. This morning it wasn't so great, but again, this morning didn't matter. That was more for camera angles and hitting the notes. And he hit the notes tonight and he looked good doing it. He like hit them effortlessly. So yeah, I really think that he is going to do well there. So after Cyprus, we get Iceland. In this morning's rehearsal, I was a little worried. I mean, I don't think Iceland is qualifying, to be completely blunt and straightforward, but I think the Icelandic delegation should be proud and that Diljá herself should be really proud because this looked great. There's so much energy with her. I know there's some people who are concerned because she seems to move around a lot on stage and it can be distracting to them. Personally, I don't have that issue. All of her movements seem really free. She does like she doesn't do any backflips or walk on her hands or anything like that, but she does a lot of like jumping and does not have a single bum note. How this girl has this much energy and is hitting every note perfectly and you can't hear her breathing, I don't know. But she has some true power in those lungs and good for her because like I said, she's bringing it. The styling is very late 90s. Kind of like there's a silver satin suit that looks really good on her. I think she's doing better with connecting on the camera than she has previously. And the background has a flower in it, which kind of makes me think of dance videos as well. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. I'll talk about qualifiers here in a minute. I just kind of want to go through all the different performances first. All right. After Iceland, we get Greece. Guys, I know we all saw those LEDs last week and we were like, what is Greece doing? The LEDs are not nearly as distracting when you get the camera angles. They really are not. It works for it. I also like the fact that they took this song, which in the music video is really like the music video is barely lit. It's a very dark looking video, and there's darkness within the lyrics, but there's also a hopefulness in the lyrics. And I think with the staging, we get a nice contrast between that darkness and the light that it provides with the lyrical content and the hopefulness that's there. Um, I still don't like the styling. I think that he still looks like a Boy Scout. And I don't understand what they did with that. I really think that all they needed to do was have that kid sit there on a stool with a guitar, but they have him jumping around and there's like smoke in weird places. It just doesn't work as an overall package. Um, Here's the thing. I'm gonna say this because Lori Francis says Grease looks a mess. I have not connected with that song. It took me a while to connect with the song personally, but like I like the song a lot more now. And if you've like I think this is the first time I've seen you comment on one of our streams. I don't like guys with acoustic guitar songs. It is not my genre. So going into this, I'm like not really big on Grease, but I think the lyrics of the song I really do connect to. And there's just something about him that makes me root for him. He with the way he's jumping around, the fact they have him styled in shorts, it's kind of highlighting how young he is. And like he kind of makes me think of my little brother. So I kind of am like, oh yeah, good for you. He kind of makes me feel like sisterly towards him. But yeah, like I don't understand the staging. I really think that the delegation needed to rethink that. Augusto Dominguez, hello Augusto. Greece is a disaster to me. They staged the worst songs better than this, and I personally hate it. It's guaranteed non-qualifier. I don't think Greece is a guaranteed non-qualifier because you have to think Greece is not starting at 0 with points. They're simply not. They've got Cyprus in the semi. Cyprus is going to give them some love. Albania is probably going to give them some love. Um, I think Victor's from Denmark. Denmark's voting in the semi. Denmark will probably send it over a couple of points, things like that. Peter Hadich says, I mean, if Greece qualifies, it's because of its neighbors. Probably. Probably. Um, yeah, like, probably. I'm not going to lie. And Georgios Papadopoulos says to Peter Hadich, yes, we must not underestimate how incredibly lucky Greece was with the semi draw. Greece and Cyprus both were very lucky with the semi draw. Like, very lucky. And yeah. See here. And then Felix P says, the fact that he's my age is shocking. So young and talented. Sad how the staging let him down this much. I really think that's what it is. The staging is really just letting letting Victor down, and I wish it wasn't, because I do like the song. I think that I'm impressed by how old he is, and the fact that English isn't his first language and he's writing lyrics that are this deep. Yeah. And then Marino's Pie says, "Hey, hello." Um, yeah, and then so there we go. Let's go ahead and hit into Poland real quick. So Poland, I'm not gonna lie, Blanka sounds better than she did at the national final. She is definitely way more confident than she was at the national final, and her vocal has improved because of that. One second. Okay, I thought I was gonna sneeze. Got spared. Yeah. And so again, Blanka has improved. Bebe has gotten better. Um, there's a lot of effects happening. There's a VHS effect, a bit of a fisheye lens, which I'm not mad at the fisheye lens, because with the way she enunciates words and her vocal, her tone when she sings, it's giving me very late 90s, pop girly, early 2000s pop girly. And I think that using the fisheye lens works for that. She's in orange and she's in purple. Again, I'm liking the fact that we're getting lots of oranges and purples this year, as far as our contrasting colors go. And there's a dance break. We all were like, what's she going to do for the dance break? I don't know what she's going to do for the dance break, but I think I think this is a better dance break than some of the other ones we've had so far this year. Not going to lie. Not going to lie at all. So let's see here. After Poland, wait 1 second. I'm just going to click on some more comments here real quick. Augusta Dominguez, Poland was refreshing surprise for me. I never thought I would say this, but Bebe to the final. You know what? I wouldn't be angry if she qualified. I don't think she is yet, but I wouldn't be mad if she did, because I really think that Blanka's won me over completely at this point. I just found her to be so the Bebe memeing and whatnot is just so charming to me. And then again from Augusto, no one ever owned their ESC meme like Poland has done this year. Props to them. They woke me up after the 3 songs that preceded her. Yeah, I know when we were watching rehearsals, I was like, you know what, Poland, take the summery vibes. I don't know where they have palm trees or tropical beaches in Poland, but for this 3 minutes, they have them. For this 3 minutes, they do. Yeah. And that's the thing, Georgios Papadopoulos says, I absolutely see Poland going on. It kind of has that trash pop vibe in a good way. It's remember Bad Philosophy from Estonia and how heartbroken I was when that didn't go to the final except for the wild card? This is giving me Bad Philosophy, and sometimes you just need a summery vibe kind of trashy pop song that's just good vibes, and that's what we're getting from Poland. And I don't think we really have that from anyone else this year, so it's definitely feeling a necessary niche. And then Felix P, I love how they use the PowerPoint transitions. It really adds the emptiness of the song. Okay, you know what? It's not that bad, I promise. As a pink smoke is a choice. There's also a fire transition. That's a choice, but it works. Okay. It just fully embraces being ridiculous, And yeah, let's not forget who's voting in the semi. I can see Poland making it. I really can. Okay. So after Poland, we have Slovenia. And the LED in the background just says Carpe Diem, and then it switches over to just being flashing lights. It works really, really well. I have nothing to say besides Slovenia knew what they needed to do, which was to basically just copy that live version they had at the announcement. And then once we've done that, just go ahead and make it work. It's them on the satellite stage. Every single member of the band gets a chance to shine. There's good interaction between them. People are gonna love this at home. They loved it in the stadium. I loved it. You know, Peter Hadich loves it. His Slovenian Kings, and Georgios Papadopoulos, Slovenia. I think we're all okay with Slovenia. Like, and we're all happy that they're gonna totally qualify. Yeah, no. Yeah. Lori Francis, Joker out is so talented. They really are. They really, really are. And Augusta Dominguez, Slovenia are my husbands, my buddies, my friends. They ate up the stage. Let's go, Slovenia. You know what, Augusto? You're going to have to share because I feel like there's a bunch of people who feel the same way. But yeah, no, Slovenia, 100%. I'm so happy for them. I think they're going to go ahead and do very, very well. Felix P. Slovenia is one of the few entries that has been consistently high quality of their performances. They deserve the top 10 in the final. I agree. Does anyone want to fact check the highest result Slovenia has ever had for me real quick? Because I can't remember. I think I know what it is, but I also feel like I'm probably wrong. What is their highest result? I can't because my mic's right above my keyboard, so you're gonna hear me slamming the keys. Yeah, no, this has been consistently good. It really has been. It has been. Um, Georgios Papadopoulos says, I agree by the way, Lily. It's either gonna be Slovenia or Austria winning the semi, my top two. We're gonna talk about Austria in a bit, so stick around for that one. Because I think it's not between Slovenia and Austria anymore. I think it might be between Slovenia and Australia. Austria, like in third, somewhere around there. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Thank you, Augusto. Augusto says it was 13th in 2011 with Maya Kioch. Okay, so like Slovenia is gonna probably get their best result ever this year, and I think we're all okay with that. Like we're all good with them, getting their best result. Oh no, it wasn't. Hold on a second. Felix P says 95 in 2001, 7th. Okay, so their best result ever was 7th and 95 in 2001. All right, so you know what? I can see them getting top 5 somehow still. And if they got top 5, we'd be okay with it, but I'm pretty much sure they're guaranteed top 10 in the final. And then Luca Leon says, Slovenia always gets disappointing results, but this year I feel like they could finally pull off a top 10. I agree. I absolutely agree with that statement. Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that statement. That Slovenia, and here's the thing, because they tend to do interesting stuff, especially since they kind of changed up the way they do EMA. Um, we all know, if you were here last year, Slovenia was like my number 2 song. I love disco to pieces, and I defend disco, and I think that they do some interesting stuff. Like, they also tend to be a country that sends stuff like that no one else has, and they also play with genre a lot more than other countries do. Because, like, I'm thinking Sebi, that was like basically shoegaze. And then we had like low key city pop last year. Um, they've sent like a song, the first song we ever had at Eurovision that was kind of K-poppy was like Havane. So yeah, I think Slovenia plays with genre really, really well. And I feel like they should be rewarded for hard work, bringing us good songs and good vibes. So after Slovenia, we go into Georgia. Iru with her song Echo. I I don't know because I feel biased here. I was ready. Let me tell you, when Iru was announced to be the singer for Georgia, and the person who's her songwriter on this song was announced to be the songwriter, my first thought was, okay, Tbilisi 2014, 2024, 2024 Tbilisi, let's go. Just because I do consistently love Georgia at junior. I really like Georgia at junior a lot. So, you know, I was like, yeah, let's go. And then we get the song. I'm like, it can still happen. It can still happen. It's still a good song. And like, I think what I wanted from the staging was just more. Um, it just feels like she's standing there with a wind machine, singing her heart out. She sings really well. The background is like smoke, like the LEDs are like smoke or powder, colored powder. And that wind machine and the fog are working overtime. I think Georgia just likes a fog machine a lot, especially, 2015. Um, but it just feels like I could use more from the staging. I think what I wanted was like something like they did at Junior in 2022, staging wise. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I still kind of feel like they're gonna qualify because the song is that strong. Yeah. Georgios Papadopoulos asks, "Is Georgia still an overall good performance?" I think so. It's just like I wish there was more from the staging that could have really elevated it to being a great performance. It's good now. I wanted it to be great. Lori Francis says maybe something a little more avant-garde. Yes. Like last year at Junior, um the styling was kind of like marrying like future modernism with traditional Georgian elements, and there was like choreography and stuff, and there was like a lot of like they had dancers and lots of movement from those dancers, and it's just like I was kind of expecting something like that at this Eurovision, just because like okay, it's a junior kind of team, and we've always wanted what Georgia does at junior at adult Eurovision, and we got half of what junior does, which is the song, the vocals, and like the team behind it, but we didn't get the staging like it, like junior staging. Georgia was cute. Augusta Domingo says Georgia was cute. Choices were made, but Yuri remains a strong performer. She really does. She really truly does, and I think that she stands out, and but she needs support to make it a great performance. Because right now it's just a good performance, and honestly, great for her. But I wanted more oomph from the stage to make it amazing. And Georgios Papadopoulos says, honestly, they kind of could have switched the ESC 2023 staging and JESC 2022 staging. If they had the 2022 staging, I would be saying, you know what? Like the junior 2022 staging, I would be saying Georgia top 10. At this point, I think Georgia's qualifying, but I feel like if they make top 10, they're coming 9th or 10th. They're going to be in that like they're going to barely get into that, top 10 spot. Yeah. Yes. And then Felix P says, it just comes over as very basic while the song has so much potential for originality. Yes. And then Luca Leon says, I feel like some traditional elements for the staging could help it become more memorable and interesting. So I feel like, remember this? I don't know how many, I keep saying, remember Junior. But like maybe some like traditional elements within the clothing, like the structure of what she's wearing. You could have like a white gown that flows out, but maybe some stuff in it that's more like traditional Georgian clothing could help with that. Some background and things. Yeah. Aaron G says, I think the camera angles helps make it not look static, but Yuru is a great performer, of course. She's a great performer. And I think that if they move things around, it could have been better. And that's the thing I keep wanting to say. It's like, I have no issue with Yuru. I just feel like the staging is not giving this song all the support it needs because she's doing what she needs to do. And she's fantastic. So after Georgia, we do get a commercial break. And that commercial break is for stuff that happens. And then we get into San Marino after the commercial. So with San Marino, the staging is black, red, and actually, you know what? The next three songs all have the same color palette, which is black, red, and white. And San Marino has black, red, and white staging. The song, I'm not that big on the song. It's just not my favorite. But I think the staging does elevate it, and the staging is doing as much as it can do to help this song out, which is all we could really ask for. And I think people at home will be entertained for the 3 minutes. They're not going to be like, want to turn it off. But I don't think this is going to qualify. All right. So after San Marino, We get into Austria. I already know people are excited for Austria. Again, color palette is black, red, and white. Teya and Selena sounded good. We've seen the outfits already. You know what they're wearing. How do I phrase this? And there's like background dancers and stuff. There's just something about the camera work that doesn't have the right energy. This song needs a crowd to work. Um, and because they need a crowd to work, it was fantastic today with like the live audience there. Um, like the LED is fun and playful. It plays up that a whole thing with like Edgar Allan Poe. There's like what is it called? For the background, it's made up of the background dancers. Like they make up Edgar Allan Poe's face. For the beginning where it says, "Who the hell is Edgar?" We get his face kind of like up on the LED. I don't know how many Europeans are gonna go, "Oh, that's Edgar Allan Poe." Like, they say Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know how recognizable he is to Europeans as like a face. I just know that like in the US, we have to read his poetry. I used to I don't have it memorized anymore. I used to have the Raven memorized. I've had to read the Telltale Heart. Like it's just and I'm also from the same state as him. So it kind of gets played up even more where I'm from. But yes, Leo says Teyas and Slalina 100%. Like, is there a drag queen named Slalina yet? Because I feel like there should be. Um, yeah, no, great and fun. I just don't think, like, I think with the choices that were made for the camera and the staging, it's not quite where it needs to be to make it win the semi. I think this is still going to do really well, but I don't think it's going to necessarily win the semi. Yeah. Okay, Aaron G says, I realize that the po section sort of sounds like a beating heart, maybe linking to the Telltale Heart poem. Honestly, that would not surprise me. That would be so much fun to have that be it. And then Georgios Papadopoulos says, we read his poetry in school in Germany too. Okay. I've had to read German literature at school. I'm glad that you guys have to read poetry from the States in school in Germany. Let's see. Luca Leon says Austria should have gone a little more theatrical and quirky AMO because the staging right now doesn't have that impact. Because like for me at the beginning when she says, "Who the hell is Edgar?" and at the end when she says that too, it has it's very reminiscent of "Baby Got Back" by Sir Mix-a-Lot and how that song goes with like oh my God, look at her butt. It's so big and round and out there. And if you watch that music video, it is ridiculous in every sense of the word. And I feel like if the staging was a little more ridiculous, it could really help. And there is some playfulness in the LEDs, like the part where it's like, at least it pays to be funny, and then goes, ugh. You see the ugh on the screen. But like they needed more moments like that because this kind of song is very tongue in cheek. And it's like, giving us a serious critique, but it's doing so in a playful way. So I think it needs some more playfulness to it. Like there's a couple of parts like for the 0.003, you see that on the screen, like flashing the numbers and the words, like 1 and 0 and whatnot. Um, but like it needs more of that playfulness, I feel like. And we'd be having a different conversation about like if it had that playfulness, I could see it winning the semi. Without that though, I don't see it winning the semi, if that makes sense. It's still gonna do super well. But I just don't think it's, taking that televoto trophy home, especially after what we saw with Finland. Um Okay, during a bathroom dance break, I came up with a really good choreography for the po po po, that would get them top 3. Send it to the delegation. Maybe they'll hire you next year. Oh, Aaron G says Austria is still a definite qualifier, though, 100%. 100%. Like, there's no way Austria doesn't qualify. They're getting to the final. And I know it's been a while since we've had Austria in the final. And in 2019, I stand by the statement that Austria was robbed. Come fight me about that if you really want to. But yeah, no, I think Austria's getting in the final and they deserve to be in the final. And then Felix P says, I think we're looking at an Iceland 2021 type televote score in the final for Austria, where it's high, but it's not the highest. That's what I think we're gonna be getting from Austria too, where it's really high, but it's not the absolute highest it could have been. Yeah, I see what you mean there with that, Felix P. Okay, so after Austria, we go into our last song of our run of 3 black, red, and white stagings, and that's Albania. I love this. It is basically the opening to the best soap opera ever. I know people on Twitter have made jokes about keeping up with the Kilimendis. I would watch every episode of that show. I'm not gonna lie. It's good. It's so dramatic. It's like the family, everyone gets a moment to shine. Um, Best dance break of the year coming through on this one, possibly. The vocal is great. Albina looks amazing. Yeah, as I said, Albina looks amazing. I see Aaron G's comment. I'm so happy Albina changed her outfit. This new one is so good. It's like it has like traditional elements in it that's really, really like nice and really I like it a lot. No, this is fantastic. And we need a song like this in the final. Like every year we need one of these dramatic ballads that like only Albania can give us. And like Albania is bringing it and they need if it were up to me they would be in the final 100%. I know there are people who are saying they're not like so Leo S says why are people saying Albania is not making it? It's not very high in the betting odds. And the betting odds got semifinal 100%, like got 10 out of 10 on semi one. So people are kind of taking them extra seriously. They've gone up in the odds. Greece has gone down, but like they're still like not in the top 10 in the betting odds. I double checked right before we started the stream too. So we'll see. But I feel like Albania can make it through, and I feel like they need to be there. Felix P says Albania is actually so good at staging. Like apart from last year, they elevate each year. They really do. And like even when they don't need anything, they're like, oh, there's no way that like Albania is not coming through with great staging. They really do. I think the issue is they don't know how to do like a pop banger necessarily with staging. They're really good at doing ballads. Like Karma, great staging. Kilatokas, great staging. Mall is just amazing. Yeah, no. Georgios Papadopoulos says Western Balkans know how to make a dramatic ballad. They really do. They really truly do. Okay. Georgia and Albania. Georgia and Albania both do have that dramatic vibes. I know they have very different vibes, but both are very passionate. They are. Like they're very good at showing the passion. Yeah. Yeah. And then Felix P says, it went from my 32nd place to my 16th. It deserved to be in the final period. I love to hear that. I'm so sorry. I can't understand how people go into Eurovision and go, this is my final ranking period. This is my final ranking. Nothing's going to change about it. I really do think that songs can change dramatically with the staging. And I feel like we should appreciate the fact that with staging, things can change. And like this song, it's about the same place where it was for me before, but like I knew they were gonna bring the staging to really make it pop. So yeah, no, Albania is doing what they need to do with this. Let's see here. Oh, we'll go into Denmark because I have a couple people asking about Denmark. We'll go into Denmark once we wrap up with Australia. Oh, with Lithuania in Australia since we're so close to the end. So after Albania comes Lithuania. I'm worried for Lithuania, mostly because in this running order, it doesn't do it any favors. Mostly, like, it's a nice ballad. Monica looks great. She sounds great. And like I love the fact that she's in the orange with the purple. There's such a good warmth to everything with this one. But between Albania and Australia, I just feel like she's gonna get lost. And it does concern me a bit for that. Um, I also feel like her dress is too short. It just the skirt, like the length of the skirt just doesn't feel appropriate for the song. Um, but that's also one of those things that might just be me. Just a me thing. Um, yeah, she sounds great. She looks great. There's a warmth there. And I feel like it and I like the LEDs. I think the LEDs have like some traditional elements to them in the background, which I think really is nice, especially the judo judo part. But I worry for this one. I really do. I really do. Augusta Dominguez says, I'm hoping my judo judo queen sails through because she got a better ballad of the semi period. She did get the better ballad of the semi, but just like I worry about her, especially between such impactful songs. Yeah. Yeah, let me see here. And Felix B says, Girl, that skirt is wrong to me. The dress of the national final was so flattering. I don't get why they are trying to do this with this rebrand. I I don't understand either. Also, like I feel like the top of the dress, like the neckline, feels like it's overworked. Like when you're working with fabrics, I don't know how many of you guys sew, but when you're working with fabrics, you can tell if it took a while to drape it the way you want it to drape. Because like the fabric just has this way of like laying that no longer really feels seamless and like effortless. It looks like you've been working and repinning to get it just the way you want it to be. And I kind of, when I see that neckline, that's what I see. It's just like, oh, that fabric, someone was making sure they got it right, but like it took them a while to get it right. If that makes sense. I don't know how else to break it down, but like it's something that when you sew, you can totally see happening as you're working with your fabrics. Let's see here. And then Leo S says, I love how Eurovision Twitter decided that Lithuania is for wine moms. Apparently, I'm a wine mom. Honestly, no, this is not a wine mom song. A wine mom song to me is like not this. This song, it does have like a maternal feel to it, but it feels more like a cool gentle mom song. Um, it's good. I think it's okay ballad. I'm also kind of biased too, just because it wasn't it was like my second favorite on their selection. Um, so yeah, no, I the skirt. uh, Yeah, I do see the appeal of it. I really do because there is that warmth to the song that is really appealing. And Monica is a good singer, but the staging I feel like kind of isn't doing what it needs to do. Georgios Papadopoulos says staging matters so much. Switzerland and Lithuania improved so much for me that with that staging, I don't care. I didn't care about it before, but I love it now. Honestly, I love it too. Yeah, yeah. Um, Felix P says my mom is a wine mom and she loves Portugal. Maybe that's a wine mom song. Are you sure your mom's a wine mom and not like a vodka auntie secretly? I feel like Portugal is a song you love if you like to party. And Leo S. Do not utter her name. We could have had so much. Okay, let's see here. And then Luca Leon says Mona Lankaite has a vocal power to go through, but the staging and outfit feel very disconnected from the song. And that's what I think it is. I think that's what it comes down to. Is that like the outfit stage don't work to the song's strengths. You have to just embrace that warmth. And Aaron G, I'm a vodka auntie. No knocking the vodka aunties. Okay. 100% a vodka auntie. I'm also a gin grandma. So, yeah. All right. And we're just going to go ahead and talk about Australia before we kind of go through and we go back to some comments about Denmark and stuff. So, Australia, LED is very cyberpunk, very on trend. I feel like cyberpunk's popular right now with like video games and stuff like that. Um, Great. There's a car. I think this is our first car on the Eurovision stage, possibly. I don't know. Someone fact check me on that one. Um, every member of the band gets a moment to shine. It's epic. And when we get to that kind of like breakdown part that goes more heavily into the metal, everything goes black and white. And I think that works really nicely with the fact that everything else is so colorful. So we have a lot of color for the rest of the song, but we go into like monochromatics for like the whole metal-y bit. I love this. Not gonna lie, the first time I watched the full 3 minutes, which was this morning's rehearsal, I did have chills. Like this morning's rehearsal, I was like, ooh, I got like goosebumps. I was like, oh, okay, you know what? Maybe we're gonna have that happen. Maybe that's gonna happen. Um, yeah, no, it was great. I really did like it a lot, and I think people are gonna love it. It's an excellent closer. It really is. And if they draw first half tomorrow, maybe they can open the semi because I do not envy the people who have to do the show running after we saw that semi allocation draw yesterday. And then Leon says, Australia is the semi winner in my eyes. Great staging, great presence, and everything works for the song. There's a lot of power here. There is. I would agree. At this point, I feel like the semi winner is going to be Slovenia or Australia. And if it was Australia, I would not be mad. I would not be. In fact, I'm gonna be like celebrating again. I've been listening to Voyager for like ever. It's been a long time since I discovered them. So I'm kind of happy to see them at Eurovision. I'm just getting curious, like who next year will get that's like a band I've been listening to for way too long. Aaron G. Luca, I agree. Australia will win the semi, and if they're closing, it's anthemic and catchy. But does that mean both semi closers won their semis? Ooh, that's a good question. That is a great question. And Felix P brings up, if they kill it live, this can maybe change the televote drought for Australia. You know what? Maybe. Maybe, because no, Australia doesn't always do the best with the televote for some reason. But I feel like with this one, the televote's going to come for it this time. And here's the thing: it's metal, but it's prog metal. It's accessible prog metal because usually when you think of like prog metal, you're thinking of like some music that's like 10 minutes long, and just people are like, I'm done with this. Or like just even prog rock. Like if I play Yes for people, they're like, why are you listening to this band? No, this is accessible. It's taking the genre, it's taking the music that Voyager does and does well, and it's just making it more accessible to the public. Like, I don't know, I have a dream that like some kid is gonna fall in love with this song and then buy a guitar and just like give us the next great prog band of the world. You know what I mean? um I have this hope that like someone's gonna find this and like find a whole new genre of music to fall in love with. And that's what I like about Eurovision, like it introduces people to stuff they would have never heard any other way. Let's see here. Georgios Papadopoulos says, honestly, I think Australia could definitely come top half of the scoreboard in the final. Agreed. I agree with that statement as well. Let's see here. Augusta says the televote the televote is decent in the semis, but terrible in the finals. Voyager can revert that trend. I would agree. Aaron G says if Finland and Australia both won, I'm sure there will be complaints to do with running orders. People can complain about the running order all they want because not like year after year, it's not necessary that like you're gonna have the song that wins. Like, think about this: Latvia closed their semi in 2017 and it didn't qualify. After qualifying and doing really well in 2015 and 2016, it's not necessarily guaranteed you're gonna like win or if your song's not there. And when it comes to running order, it's it's decided by song, hype around the song, and like what they want to do with the staging. And like when it comes to staging, you don't want to have songs stuck together that look too similar or have too many props as well. Like the issue I'm like with this running order, I would have changed the fact that we have Austria, Albania, and San Marino back to back like we do, because they're all black, red, and white. They all bleed together visually speaking. And you also want to have something that's going to keep people in their seats. Because like Cha 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 is really anticipated. Putting that song last in the running order means people are going to stick around and watch it. When it comes to Australia and having Voyager go last, people are going to want to stick around and watch it. And also, Voyagers, I don't know if they're known in Europe, but they're a known entity amongst people who listen to this kind of music. Non-Eurovision non-Eurovision Europe fan Eu gosh, non-Eurovision fan Europeans are still not over the fact that Australia is in Eurovision, so it's so annoying. You know what? They need to get over it. They really do. Luca Leon wouldn't be disappointed if the semi closers won overall. Honestly, if Australia somehow won Eurovision, I feel like Germany would host, and I'm okay with Germany hosting again. Like, I'm perfectly okay with that. Leo S says Rosalind also performed last in her semi, and what she qualified, but she only did what in the final 17th, 20th, somewhere around there. Yeah, no. Um, and then Aaron G says, "Do you think Australia would continue to compete after this year?" My answer to that is if Eurovision Asia happens, which was how long ago was that announced? And we still never got any more details other than it was happening. In fact, I was the 25th person to subscribe to that YouTube channel when the Eurovision Asia YouTube channel dropped. And we didn't get anything. But if Eurovision Asia somehow happens for 2024, I can see Australia no longer being at Eurovision and transitioning over to being at Eurovision Asia. If it doesn't happen, I think Australia will be invited to stay longer. Just because they bring such quality every year that it seems like it'd be silly if they got rid of them. And then IRNG says, I pray Australia stay. Georgios Papadopoulos says Australia will compete in both when that happens. Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen with that still. Leo S. I would love for Germany to host, but I'm almost sure that would not be in Berlin. Then that makes me sad. If I had to choose a city, I don't even know. Does Stuttgart have a place big enough for Eurovision? I'm only down with I say Stuttgart so I don't have to get a hotel. I can just stay with my cousin or my uncle. Let's see here. Aaron G says countries are dropping so quickly that it's sad. I prefer the 18 country semis. I think that we're gonna get people who dropped out this year coming back next year. I feel like just people couldn't afford to after, like with energy stuff and having to pay for things. Luca Leon says, I hope the contract with the EBU gets continued to at least 2030. I say just make them permanently. We'll just pick up a helicopter and we'll just park Australia off the coast of Spain. Okay, also what happened with Eurovision Latin America? I don't know if we got any additional details about that. Um, I'm just thinking because I know there was a what's it called? There was a press conference today. I'm sorry, and I was on a Twitter space while it was happening. It was like an EBU BBC press conference. They asked them about Eurovision America, like the American Song Contest thing. Um, but I don't know if they asked about Eurovision Latin America because I would love to know more information about that too. Because I feel like Eurovision Latin America is going to be someplace with a beach, and I love a beach. I also like not having jet lag, and most of Latin America would not give me jet lag. So, yeah. Georgios Papadopoulos says Stuttgart definitely has a place that's big enough. My hometown Nuremberg has one too. We have arenas for Eurovision everywhere, basically. Germany needs to get better at Eurovision so we can just go there constantly. Let's see here. Luca Leon, we're getting Eurovision Canada this or next summer too, and Canada might be in talks with joining the ESC soon. I don't think Canada would join Eurovision necessarily. Um, I would like to say, let me think here. How do I phrase this? Um, I think that I'm excited for Eurovision Canada. Like the Canadian contest seems like it's going to be fun. But I don't see Canada joining Eurovision. I think we'll still get Canadians who pop over to Eurovision like we did this year and we have in the past, but I don't see Canada going full into Eurovision proper. Okay, and then Augusto Dominguez says, we got nothing on ESC Latin America. Ustradal wants to revive ASC on another network in the US. I don't even know what network would work. PBS? Ooh, PBS would be fun. This is brought to you by viewers like you. Okay, sorry. I'm just going through here. No, hold on. Sorry. Okay, Aaron G, would Blood and Glitter or Promise place better in the final? Um, hmm. I'm thinking. I'm sorry. Um, I want to say Germany, but my heart is telling me maybe Australia because it's just so much more accessible. But then people still have this whole thing of like, oh, why is Australia here? And then people are like, oh, Germany is sending us something that sounds German for a change. I don't know. Like in my heart, I want it to be Germany just because I want Germany to do well again. I really want Germany to get back on track so bad. Felix B says, oh, sorry. Felix P says, I don't know if you've heard, but the election candidate in Turkey has apparently said that they will return to ESC if he wins. I've heard that, and I would be okay with that. Not gonna lie, I miss Turkey. I think Germany misses Turkey too, since I tend to give them a lot of televote love. Let's see here. ESC Scott says, I was in the arena tonight, and the reaction for Belgium was crazy. I'm so happy to hear that. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter also saying the same thing who were there tonight. Like, Gustaph deserves the world. Like, I'm sorry. Like, he deserves everything. And I'm rooting for him to do well. And I really, really want him to qualify. So I'm so happy to know that the arena loved him because it's deserved. He did what he needed to do there. Then there were some other people. Let me see here. Okay, so K-pop 24/7 says, I will be sobbing for so many weeks if Riley not qualifies. Hopefully, us K-pop people will unite and vote for him like we usually do. You know what? Never underestimate the K-pop fans. Because if Riley has a following and they're made up of K-pop fans, I would not be worried about him qualifying because you guys know how to coordinate in a way that is both terrifying and mesmerizing. Like people K-pop fans do not play with them. They are a very powerful group of people. They are very, very powerful. So you know what? I don't know like if you guys are not already planning something, but start planning something. Get your like friends on Twitter to go. And you got the rest of the world vote too. So you know what? You can probably get people to coordinate outside of Europe as well this time. Make sure he gets through. Um the US says I don't even know how much we need Turkey back in the contest. Like, honestly, I love Turkey. I love so many Turkish entries. I really do. Um, Georgios Papadopoulos says I can connect with George with Belgium's song. The message speaks to me. I love 90s music. It was destined for me to love it. You know what? Good. Yeah, no. Yeah. Aaron G says Gustav's coming top 10 in the semi tomorrow period. Um, I really hope so because if it were up to me, yes, they would be coming top 5. They'd be probably winning the semi if it were up to me as well. But it's not up to me, it's up to everybody else. So I really do want them to go ahead and do well. Let me see here. I've been saying since Gustav won the national final that he would qualify easy. And if people were hating on me so much, I love proving the people wrong. You know what? I always love proving people wrong too. I was one of those people thinking, "Oh, Belgium's not going to qualify when that song won." I'm not going to lie. I have come around dramatically on it though. I've come around to the point where I absolutely love the song, and yeah, you know. Um, and then Peter Hadich says, "By the way, Vesla's member Teresa is the first ever Slovak in the final, right?" Now, will Teresa's success be that maybe Slovakia can come back? Please? I want Slovakia back too. I really do. Okay. We're getting to the 1 hour mark here. So does anyone else have any other questions or anything else? You know what? Okay, let me see here. So Aaron G asks, who are your 10 predicted qualifiers at the moment after watching the show? Okay, so you guys have to remember I'm delusional half the time. So like I only got 8 out of 10 yesterday. Only got 8 out of 10. Today I'm gonna go with okay, I have 9 decided, I guess. So from the top, one second. Okay, from the top, I'm going to say Denmark, Australia, Belgium, Cyprus, um, Slovenia, Georgia, Austria, Albania, Australia. For the 10th qualifier, I don't know. I'd say maybe Greece for the 10th qualifier just because I got really lucky with the run, like with who was drawn. Um, yeah, I would say that those are my 10. I'm gonna go Greece just because they got lucky with the draw. Like Cyprus got lucky with the draw too. I said Armenia. So again, Denmark, Armenia, Belgium, Cyprus, Greece, then Slovenia, Georgia, Austria, Albania, and Australia. That would be my guess after watching everything. I just feel like that running order. Yeah. So those would be my 10 qualifiers. I feel like Armenia is making it through. Yeah. Peter Hodich says Armenia, Australia, Albania, Belgium, Georgia, Lithuania, Slovenia, Estonia, Cyprus, Austria. Okay. Those are Georgia's qualifiers. She can sneak in there maybe, but I just don't think it's gonna come through. What about Romania? Is it that bad? Here's the thing. It's the staging. The new arrangement of the song for Romania is really good. But the staging, like the LEDs just don't make sense to me. See here. Felix P. Wait, missed the beginning of the stream. Did Estonia flop? I don't think Estonia flopped necessarily. I just think the running order is not doing her any favors. So we might lose her. You know what I mean? Like, we could possibly lose her. Just because like with the running order, I remember Blue, but that's about it. She did sound amazing though. Okay, Leo S says, I feel like we're not going to get both Greece and Denmark. Here's the thing. If the K-pop fans come for Denmark, I'm not worried about Denmark. It's, you know, it's going to happen. When it comes to Greece, I can see Greece being out and someone else getting their spot. Like I have 9 that I said like off the top of my head that I felt the most strongly about. And Greece was the one I had to go back to grab something for. But yeah, I can see it happening either way. Still Sane says Lithuania is definitely coming top 5 in that semi. I'm shocked you don't think it's getting through. My main concern is Lithuania is not being helped by the running order. Between Albania and Australia is not a really good place for them to be. And that's my main reason why I'm holding back on saying Lithuania should go through. It's a good ballad, it's a good song, and I like it, but like her clothing doesn't fit the song. It just feels weird and doesn't really sit right with me personally, and it's gut feeling. This is my top 10. I'm also delusional. I always set clear facts because if it were up to me, I thought Lithuania was going to win last year. So hey, let's see here. I'm just looking. See, Denmark could qualify if the European support is there, but the rest of the world support should be there. Honestly, there's K-pop fans all over the world if they coordinate correctly. And like you'll never hear me talk bad about K-pop fans because they will come for you if you do. Also, like my best friend's a huge K-pop fan, so that'd be nice. Let me see here. Leo S says Cyprus is a locket because I find it extremely boring. Personally, same. But I think that just knowing how people vote, and you cannot underestimate the power of a man with his arms out who's good looking when it comes to Eurovision. Europe loves a good looking guy with his arms out. And I think that, Andrew fills that role wonderfully. So I think that's about it. Thank you all so much for joining me on this stream. Um, Go to Eurovision Fam well, we're on YouTube, Eurovision Fam on Twitter, EurovisionFam.com for more Eurovision Fam content. If you are in the Washington, D.C. area, we are having a Eurovision watch party at Wonder Garden. Details are in the description box with a link and tickets. I'll let you guys know. We're probably like Saturday's pretty lit, not gonna lie. And we'll also have the party on Saturday too. After the show tomorrow, about 15 minutes after the show ends, you can come back to this YouTube channel. Jordan and Augusto, who was in the chat earlier, are going to be here and they're going to be streaming the post Semi 2 show. And you guys will see me again on Friday. So I'll be back Friday to go over the grand final jury show. And thank you all so much for joining me. Bye. I forgot to tell you guys to like